The coach of the year for the SEC was announced, and surprise, surprise, it is Dawn Staley. Of course, it is Dawn Staley. So Dawn Staley wins once again, well-deserved. She was able to take a team that didn't have any returning starters from last season, and once again, go undefeated in regular season play. It is just phenomenal what she has done with this team. And not just the fact that, they were able to transform the team with new players or new starters, I should say, and a huge time transfer that came in Te-Hina Paopao. And this team is not just the defensive team that they've always been, right? They also are offensive team as well. They did lead the SEC conference in points scored per game at 84.3 points a game. That's South Carolina. And then also they led the SEC conference in terms of defense, defensive points per game at 57.9. So teams against South Carolina only score 57.9 points a game. And South Carolina, they are able to have 84.3 points a game. And that is a margin. They have a winning margin of 26.3 points a game. That is the best in the conference. So, yeah, Dawn Staley is very much deserving of this award of Coach of the Year. Yes, there have been some great coaches in the SEC, but I mean, you just can't. How could you not acknowledge like what she has been doing with this team? Again, with no returning starters from last year. Of course, this upcoming year, she'll have some returning starters. But this season, she really has done a fantastic job with the South Carolina Gamecocks. So yeah, South Carolina did win the Coach of the Year award. But when we went to talk about, let's talk about the Player of the Year award for the SEC that went to Angel Reese. In terms of, who was in the running for it, I think it was like Kamilla Cardoso. You had Rakia Jackson with Tennessee. You had Aneesah Morrow on LSU. But when it came down to it, truly the best player in the conference was Angel Reese. She really, and yes, you guys can talk about the fact that she missed part of the early part of the season, but that wasn't conference play. If you're just looking at SEC conference play, Angel Reese has been balling. She has been very, very good. When you look at points per game, she's scoring 19.1 points a game. She has 13 rebounds a game. Sizably a huge chunk of offensive rebounds per game as well. She has been the engine for this LSU team. She is the emotional leader for this team. And, she's no slouch on defense either. Not only can she score, but she can dish the ball out and get some assists in. And also she could play some good defense as well. She, in addition to being the Player of the Year for the SEC, she was named to the All SEC first team, and then also the All SEC defensive team as well. So shout out to Angel Reese. She continues to do her thing for LSU. And, yes, I'm sure there's been folks that have sort of talked about like, who should have won and who shouldn't have won and whatnot. But I do believe that Angel Reese was the best player in the SEC. Yes, I said it before. I'll say it again. I do believe that Aneesah Morrow also was very deserving of a look at that Player of the Year spot. But yeah, Angel Reese won it. She very much deserves it. So shout out to both Dawn Staley and Angel Reese for winning their respective awards. Let's see what y'all got to say about this. JB says Angels games didn't really matter much to me. They weren't conference games, but I know Kamilla missed some games in the SEC. None of the games that Angel missed in the season was a part of the conference play. So yeah, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big deal that she missed those games. Bree Wayne says, yeah, Rakia is more talented. Yeah, I mean, Rakia Jackson is a baller. Facts. Absolutely baller. But when you look at a player of the year, usually it goes to one of the best teams in the league, right? And I think while she has been balling this season, I think her team's record is what hurt them in terms of her ability to win the Player of the Year award. So yeah, Rakia Jackson is extremely talented, but Tennessee is not very good, and I think that is what kind of cost her a little bit. So yeah, let's continue down the list of SEC awards. And let's talk about the Freshman of the Year, which went to Mikaylah Williams for LSU. And yeah, there's been people who said like, oh, LSU swept the awards. I mean, they got some high profile awards. They sure did. Mikaylah Williams has won the Freshman of the Year. There's been quite a few freshmen that have been balling for the SEC this season. But again, it comes down to being on the better team. And that sort of giving you an edge. And I think that's what helped Mikaylah Williams. But even with that being said, Mikaylah Williams has been balling this season. She is just a freshman, but she's been averaging 14.9 points a game this season and 4.9 rebounds. 14.9 points a game and then 4.9 rebounds. Yes, her scoring has sort of eased up as of late. The last several games, she hasn't been as impactful as she has been sort of early and sort of midway through the season, but still, like Mikaylah Williams, she's good, and she's going to be good for a very long time in the future. So yeah, that is something that I did want to specifically shout out, the fact that we have LSU with the Player of the Year and the Freshman of the Year. And moving on down the list, let's talk about the Defensive Player of the Year, which went to Kamilla Cardoso. So Kamilla Cardoso won the Defensive Player of the Year because, yeah, she is the top defender in the SEC, because who wants to be running down trying to get in the paint and then you have 6'7" Kamilla Cardoso ready to block your shot? It's just, she is just extremely, extremely good. She's averaged a little bit over 2.6 blocks per game, and it's not just the fact that it's not just the fact that she gets a lot of blocks. It's also her ability to sort of alter the other players' shots. So I think that is something that is absolutely huge. For one, South Carolina, and also, she just is extremely dominant. Yes, you can also say Ashlyn Watkins has also been very dominant on the defensive end as well. Both of those players have been pretty phenomenal. But I think the reason why Kamilla Cardoso won is because Kamilla Cardoso is a starter. I think it would be kind of odd for the Defensive Player of the Year to go to someone who is coming off the bench, even though Ashlyn Watkins does play a lot of minutes. I think it had to go to Kamilla Cardoso. Like I couldn't imagine them giving it to Ashlyn Watkins. I think that okay, so there's some conversation in the chat about the Freshman of the Year. So let's go back to that real quick. Yeah, Bree says Mylasia Fulwiley should have won the Freshman of the Year. So I don't agree with that. Mylasia Fulwiley has been amazing, but she hasn't been the best Freshman of the Year. She hasn't. She doesn't score as many points as Mikaylah Williams. I don't think she has as many assists as Mikaylah Williams in terms of just being on the floor a lot. Mikaylah Williams is a starter. Mylasia Fulwiley comes off the bench. There's a huge difference, I think, in between both players. Yes, Mylasia Fulwiley is extremely flashy, extremely like a fun player to watch. Absolutely. But I disagree. I disagree. She hasn't been extremely talented, but I don't believe that she is that she should have been the freshman of the year. No. But shout out to Malaysia Fulwally. She's been great. She has been great. All right, let's see what else y'all got to say. All right, let's move on to the sixth woman of the year. Now this sixth woman of the year thing, there's a lot of discussion around the sixth woman of the year for the SEC. So it went to Leilani Correa, and one, Leilani's great. She's plays for Florida. In terms of her ability to get in the game and positively impact it is great. There has been some conversation that I've seen from folks about this particular award, and there's been discussion about, okay, well, who should have actually won this thing, right? So we look at a player like Leilani Correa, and we say, okay, number one, she has been very, very impactful for her team. So far this season, she is averaging 27 minutes a game. In terms of her ability to just sort of put points on the board, she can do that. She's her best game this season was like 30 something points against Ole Miss. And so far, she's averaging 17 points a game, 17.9 points a game. So, yes, absolutely, she has been extremely, extremely good for the Florida Gators. I would say that I was a little bit surprised that she won, not because she doesn't deserve it, because I think she has been balling for her team and putting in some great minutes. However, when I think of the sixth woman of the year for the SEC, I think of one player. I think of Ashlyn Watkins. That's who I think of. Yes, Leilani is great. I think that I really do think that Ashlyn Watkins should have won. In my opinion, just because it's not just the points that Ashlyn scores, because she doesn't score as many points as Leilani, but it's Ashlyn's ability to sort of cook on defense. That is just, it's tough. It's tough to have a second unit come in and the second unit be just about as dominant as the first unit. But you can say the same thing for Leilani. Like, she has been extremely dominant and has been a huge player for Florida. She is in, for those who don't know, I believe she is in her senior year this year. Yeah, I mean, she won it. She deserves it. Yes. But also I do think that Ashlyn also deserved it as well. So maybe in my head, maybe it should have been like a co-award type thing. Because both players have been absolutely balling. Bree says, Quita, what is Sixth Woman of the Year? So the Sixth Woman of the Year award goes to a player who is just that. So you have the starting five, and then you have one player who comes in and comes off the bench and is, cooking, basically. And I really do enjoy the Sixth Woman of the Year award, because it shows the fact that just because you're not starting does not mean you're not a player who's on the court when the game's on the line and you really need a bucket, right? I think that's what Leilani does for Florida. I also think that's what Ashlyn Watkins can do for her team as well. So yeah, that's Yeah, I wanted to just sort of talk about that real quick because, yeah, when we talk about the Sixth Woman of the Year award, I think both players deserve to win. Of course, Leilani actually won it, but Ashlyn Watkins has been balling as well. So yeah, I did just want to mention that a little bit. So now let's kind of take a look at the first team All SEC. So we have several players. We have Sarah Ashley Barker with Alabama. We have Honesty Scott Grayson with Auburn. We have Aneesah Morrow with LSU. Angel Reese with LSU. Marquisha Davis with Ole Miss. Madison Scott with Ole Miss. Camilla Cardoso with South Carolina. And we have Rakia Jackson at Tennessee. Now, so yeah, that is the all first team SEC. Those are the award winners. Let me know, guys, in the chat what you all think about the players who won. I don't have any issues with this list. So I don't have a ton to say about this because yeah, I think it's a fine list. I really do. I have no problems with that at all.
1 hour later.
Tabitha says, don't forget, Don has sent 2 to the WNBA from the bench. They'll be fine. But it's crazy how a team 29-0 only has 1 player in the SEC first team. Total hate. Is it though? Okay, who you replacing with who then? I mean, that's my thing. Like, I think that South Carolina is absolutely dominant. Phenomenal team. But it's more of a team and not so much of individual greatness from players. And I think that's why you only have 1 player on the SEC first team. So that's sort of my take on it. Who you taking off? Who you taking off of the first team to put yeah, so let's actually look at that real quick. So here is the first team All ACC. I think that South Carolina has done great, but at the end of the day, it's not total dominance by 1 or 2 players that gets South Carolina to where they're at. It's the consistency of having multiple players make an impact, where you don't really have anybody scoring, a ton of points a game. Like you don't really see it for South Carolina. So to me, it's not about the first team designation goes to the best stats for the most part. It goes to the best stats. South Carolina is a team that just wants to win. And I think that to me, that's the difference. That's the difference. Yes, they're extremely talented, but like, I don't know. I don't think that, I don't have a problem with South Carolina only having 1 player on the first team list. But I would love to hear what y'all have to say about that in the chat. Am I wrong? Let me know how I'm wrong in the comments. Rover says South Carolina has no stars. That's the strength of their team. Yeah. I think yeah, that absolutely is a strength of South Carolina. How they can be the number 1 team in the country and still not really have, like, they have great players, but they not really have like stars. You know what I'm saying? Shondell says Te-Hina Paopao is worthy of being on the first team. Who are you taking off though? High Vibration says, so it's all about stats and not winning. I mean, for the all SEC first team, yes, it's about stats. It's about individual stats. It's about how you are as a defender, how you are as an offensive player, not how your team is. It's how you are as a player. So yes, it is about stats and not about winning. And when it comes to the first team All SEC, Lil says that first team All SEC is correct. Officer Davis says Sarah Ashley Barker for Paopao. Really? I mean, I thought Sarah Ashley Barker has been phenomenal this season. I mean, yes, Paopao has been great too, but personally, I would keep Sarah Ashley Barker where she is, personally. Ghost Ham says, Paopao did shoot 49% from 3-point this year. She led the country. I can see her on the second team all SEC though. Yeah, I mean, Paopao is great. Absolutely phenomenal. But I think again, the fact that South Carolina is so like team oriented, I think in terms of individual stats, I think that could hurt players in terms of their individual stats. Now, are they better in the long run for that? Yes. because the way Don runs her program, you know you're going to get ready for the WNBA. You know you're going to be prepared, right? You may not have the individual stats and you may not win all the individual awards. However, you're going to be ready. So it's a trade-off to me. It's a trade-off that you get when you play for a team like South Carolina. I mean, where net you're ending up in a positive land, right? So yeah. But yeah, if Paopao was shooting the way she's shooting on another team, she would have a lot more points because she would be asked to shoot a lot more than she is with South Carolina. Though with South Carolina, when she shoots, she's probably gonna make it. She's probably gonna make it. Willie says South Carolina has the most dominant team, but there are better players on other teams. South Carolina has the perfect storm of talent, depth, and great coaching. Absolutely agree with that, Willie. Absolutely agree with that. Yes. Yeah, that's straight up facts to me. That's straight up facts. Wesley says that's Don's strategy. Yeah, it's a good strategy. It's a good strategy. It is a good strategy. It's all about the team. It's all about the team. It is all about the team. And I'm down for it. I am absolutely down for it. Bree Wayne says take off Ashley Barker. Really? Like, Sarah Ashley Barker is really good. Like, I mean, Te-Hina is too, but like, she's really, really good. Like, I'm just saying, have y'all watched Alabama play this season? Yeah, I'm just saying. LSU Tiger says, you're right, Quita. It's South Carolina fans freaking out because you're not worshiping every aspect of their team. Fair enough. Yeah, sorry, South Carolina fans. Sorry. We got a super chat. Hold up. We got Trisha, thank you so much for the super chat. I think that's your first super chat that you ever gave to the channel, so I really do appreciate that. I really, really, really do. And Trisha sent the message, said, I sent the super chat without a message. Dope. I'm thinking of that you know, what's it, the Simpsons Homer? He like hits himself with something. He's like, dope. Quita, I love this channel. Thanks for the great info and entertainment. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that support. I really do. I don't make a ton at all. I don't actually make a lot at all for actual the ads that run. Y'all see ads on YouTube and whatnot. You don't actually make really any money on it. I think like the financial channels, I think they make money off of it. So I really do appreciate when y'all give super chats. Like truly. You know, that's a huge portion of income that comes through the channel is through super chat. So I really do appreciate that. Kyra says, I think Paopao could be first team if on another team, but she doesn't need to be a star to do everything. A star do everything player. Yeah. I would agree with that, Kyra. I would agree with that. Yeah, if she's on another team, yes, she probably would get that first team, all SEC. Yep. Lil says Sarah Ashley Barker is very deserving of that selection. Yep. Judah says, always knew Quita was a South Carolina hater. Always knew it. You always knew it, Judah. You always knew it. Well, I don't know what to tell you, Judah. I tell it how I see it. Again, I don't have a favorite college team. So I say it exactly how I see it. So I'm sorry, South Carolina fans, if you're upset. that I don't believe Te-Hina Paopao should have been I believe that this first team all SEC team is correct. I don't believe Te-Hina Paopao should have been a first team selection. So sorry if that makes me a hater. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Te-Hina Paopao is great, but at the end of the day, Sarah Ashley Barker is great. Who are you taking off? I'm just saying, who are y'all taking off? But Judah, you funny though. You always knew it. You always knew it. I mean, I gotta tell y'all, it's always people who are who are saying I'm I'm a hater for all these different teams. I say something about Iowa, then I'm a hater. And I talk about Caitlin too much, and I'm worshiping Caitlin. I talk about LSU too much, and I'm a huge LSU stan, and then I give them some criticism. You hate LSU. I just it's kind of funny though. It's kind of funny. It is kind of funny. JB says, I feel like there's a lot of confusion about team awards and individual awards. This year's awards have triggered a lot of fans. I'm not 100% sure why. Fans are triggered. Fans are triggered. Fans are triggered. And y'all, I love us sort of being able to kiki and talk about the game. Like, y'all, we are 400 plus strong in this chat, y'all. It is just wild. So thank y'all so much for watching. Go Sam says they're number one team in the nation. If LSU won more, they probably. Oh yeah, about people talking a lot about South Carolina. Trisha said, I figured I've been watching you more than Netflix the last couple of months, so past time to pay up. I have replaced Netflix. My lot in life is perfect. I have replaced Netflix. No, I appreciate that, Trisha. I appreciate that. Oh, man. Kyra says the secret's out. The secret's out. Quita hates South Carolina. The secret's out, y'all. The secret's out. Oh man. Yes, disruptive one. I agree. Yep. When you go to South Carolina right now, you are making individual sacrifices for team goals. Facts. Yes. But in the end, net. I think you end up in a positive spot. Just saying. So yes, you are making individual sacrifices though. You are making individual sacrifices. So let's see what else y'all got to say. All right. Bando says Quita Sarah Ashley Barker had 2 points against Te-Hina Paopao. I mean, sure, but for the season, I think Sarah Ashley Barker is averaging like 17 points a game on the season. So, what we saying? Also, Sarah Ashley Barker's field goal percentage is like above 50%. If not, it's just at 50%. So like, she may have had a bad game against South Carolina, but and also, hold on, actually, let me look at her stats against South Carolina. Let me look at her stats against South Carolina. Let me see. But overall, Sarah Ashley Barker is a baller. Like, even if she struggled against South Carolina, she is a straight up baller. So it looks like they played against each other in February, and Sarah had 4 points. But also she only played 22 minutes in the game, that game. But look at the body of work that Sarah Ashley Barker has given to Alabama. Look at the body of work. look at how Alabama's in the top 4 for the SEC. And the reason why is because of Sarah Ashley Barker. She's averaging. So I'm actually. Let me look at this right now. She's averaging 17.2 points a game. She's averaging 50.5% from the field. I mean, what are we talking about, guys? Like, she's absolutely deserving of being a first team all SEC. I don't get it. Like, why are we talking about her like she's like trash or something? Like, no, like she's very good, extremely good. So I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. You know, they're a top 4 team, and it's because of a player like Sarah Ashley Barker. Willie says, just shows the deep talent in the SEC regarding women's basketball. Yes, I absolutely agree. You just said stop the hate. Oh, man. Miss Drama Queen. What a name, Miss Drama Queen. Miss Drama Queen says, LSU fan here, and you be spot on about them. Love criticism because I be talking the same thing. Bree Wayne says, Quita, come on. Te-Hina is on a undefeated team, swept the SEC, but she doesn't deserve to be over there because Sarah, didn't you say Brink was player of the year because she was on Stanford, the team that won the pack? Look, so here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Cameron Brink is very different than Te-Hina Paopao. Te-Hina, South Carolina is a like team where, you know, you don't really have a player who's like absolutely dominating. Stanford's all about Cameron Brink. Stanford runs through Cameron Brink. And now Kiki Irafen, because she's been showing up and doing her thing. The reason why I think that when you have 2 elite players like a Cameron Brink and like a Juju Watkins going head to head for the player of the year, to me, it's, I mean, I kind of talked about it earlier, but like that piece about being on a winning team, I think that is just another feather in the cap that just sort of like weighs it down and allows you to win, I would say. Because, you know, Cameron Brink had it all. She had the offense. She definitely had the defense. And Juju Watkins just had offense primarily. And also, Cameron Brink is on a winning team. So I think that I think being on a winning team does help you. But also, you kind of need to also be in the room as well. And I think the fact that South Carolina is such a team-oriented team, a winning first type of team. Of course, all teams are winning first, but like the way that South Carolina plays, you're not going to see total domination by players. And I think that hurts them when it comes to individual awards. Will it ultimately help them in the end? Probably. I mean, they're likely to win the championship this year. So will they get huge benefits in the end? Yeah, sure. But I mean, yes, you know, I don't know. I don't see what the big deal is. I really don't see what the big deal is. To me, it's not a big deal that she's not on the all SEC team, first all SEC team. I don't think it's a big deal, but yeah, maybe I'm just not understanding what everyone sees as the issue. J Boog says, "Wow, Quita hates on South Carolina. What did I just walk into?" It's because I said Te-Hina Paopao. I'm fine with her not being on the first team all SEC. So I hate. I guess I hate him now since I don't think she should have been. She should be a first team all SEC. I do think she is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And when she leaves South Carolina at the end of next season, I hope that she gets drafted to the Chicago Sky, because Te-Hina Paopao is a player that you want on your team. You absolutely want her on your team. So yeah. But because, I disagree with people, I hate them all of a sudden. Agree, Kyra. Agree. Kyra says, I don't think anyone is saying Paopao isn't a better player. It's not what it means. Yes. I mean, pound for pound, if Te-Hina Paopao was on a team that needed her to be the star and score a whole bunch of points, pound for pound, yes. I put her over Sarah Ashley Barker. However, in the role that she's playing right now, I think Sarah Ashley Barker is way more impactful for her team and also just in terms of like individually what she's doing. But Te-Hina Paopao can ball, straight up ball. But the role that she's specifically asked to play on South Carolina, it doesn't require her to be a huge scoring threat. Like, yes, she can score, get you some really good buckets. But also she's not asked to give you 17 points a game. She's not asked to give you 20 points a game, right? And I think on another team, she would be asked to do that. And she would be first team all SEC. If not, would absolutely, qualify for some of the other player of the year and all that good stuff, because she has the level of talent, in my opinion. She has the level of talent. It's just what she's asked to do for the team that she's currently on. Marcus says, Mikaylah Flau'jae needs to transfer. She's too good not to start. I mean, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. She's from the area, so she may just want to stay at South Carolina because she's just familiar with it, and she may just decide, hey, I'm in a good situation. I am going to be the best player off the bench as I possibly can be, and I will try to wade my time until the following year where I can actually start. So we'll see. I could see her staying with South Carolina and still continuing to come off the bench next season. I also could see her leaving as well. So I think, she'll figure out what's best for her in this situation and go for that. Appreciate you, Miss Drama Queen. Dude, that name is so funny. So funny. Shondell says Iowa championship is not happening this year. Oh, man. Arthur Davis says, I F with Quita, but the South Carolina hate is great. Oh, man. Y'all are... yeah, I love y'all. Y'all some rock stars. Tabitha says, just stop. The hate is so real against South Carolina. They punish everybody, and these supposed lesser players dominate. But are they dominating though? I mean, who's dominating? Sure, they got player awards, sure, but like the only team that's dominating is South Carolina. Like individual, to me, sure, if you want to put a lot of stock in individual stats, whatever. But ultimately, it's about what your team can do. And South Carolina still is the extreme. They're the example of total domination. Total domination. That's South Carolina. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal that they may not win individual stats, because, I mean, at the end of the day, does it matter for you to be on a first team all SEC and get bounced in the first round of the NCAA championship, like in the NCAA tournament? Does it matter? Like I think that when you're looking at a team, you want to be like South Carolina, like a team, you know, a team that, you know, if a player gets hurt or something, you're not completely screwed, right? But also with being a team that just sort of like everybody pulls together and makes stuff happen. I think that the downside is that the individual won't shine as much when you are one band, one sound, right? You know, like you really are one band, one sound. It's like the Drumline movie, right? You are in perfect harmony with each other. So there's not one player who severely stands out, right? Because everybody's working together and it's all like harmonious together. But if that's if that's the team that you're building, ultimately the team that probably will be the most successful in the end. But if that's the team you're building, you're going to lose in some of the individual stats. It just is what it is. Like, you can't have both, in my opinion. You can't have both. So I don't know. Whatever. If I'm still a hater, I don't know. I'm still probably a hater, I guess. You know, like you can't have both. You can't have both. And South Carolina is really, really good, but at the same time, like you probably won't get the same individual stats if you're trying to, you know, run up the score and get everything, player of the year, first team, all SEC, all that good stuff. Maybe you don't want to go to a team that's like really, really a team, right? Maybe you want to go to a team that will let you kind of do what you want to do and let you score and let you like dominate, right? So I don't know. That's my thoughts, guys. This is really feeling like a whole like South Carolina only stream, which is like that was not the intention of this stream, was for it to just completely derail into South Carolina only talk, because South Carolina is not the only team in the country. There are other teams in the country that we can absolutely talk about. Sure, if you all want to keep talking about South Carolina, whatever, sure, we'll keep doing it. But yeah, there's other teams. I feel like in general, it feels like a lot of people who are like very active with women's basketball in terms of college, it's primarily dominated on the SEC. Like it feels like that's the case. It feels like a huge amount of the fans are SEC dominant. So they know a lot about the SEC. And then they fall into either LSU or South Carolina. And they gonna rap for their school, and I don't mind that at all. Rap for your school, rock out. But it doesn't feel like there's a lot of conversation about what's going on in the ACC. There's not much conversation about what's going on in the Pac-12. You know, if there's talk about anybody else, it's about Iowa, and that's because of Caitlin Clark. But I think that when you're, I don't know, like I think that it's just, yeah, women's basketball is dominated online. Women's basketball online is dominated by the SEC. You know, it really is dominated by the SEC. So I'm just, you know, and that's all a lot of people want to talk about, and I'm fine with that. You know, if you want to talk about it, I'm fine with that. But at the same time, there are a lot of other teams in the country. It's a, you know, anyway. J Book says, okay, Drumline. Oh man. Dr. Drew says South Carolina sounds like Cowboy fans. I wouldn't put that on South Carolina fans. I mean, I think Cowboy fans have a bad rap, a very bad rap, and I wouldn't put that on South Carolina fans. I wouldn't put that on them. KA says, real South Carolina and Quita fans, no, you are not a hater. We just got to talk our beep. That's fair. And that's fair. And that's what we all here for, you know? Hey, talk your stuff. Talk your talk. Talk your talk, man. Talk your talk. Because we are here for it. Rai says, I give Quita a 25 out of 10 in a 10 out of 10 ranking because she put the old young goat in the thumbnail. That's funny. High Vibration says, we deep in here, the fams roll deep. I mean, y'all, I tell y'all this. I love how y'all rock out for y'all team. Like fandoms is what makes basketball fun, right? It's what makes basketball entertaining. I love it. Back in the day, it was UConn fans who were just everywhere, right? When you ever said anything about UConn, you had all these people getting after you, saying how crazy you were and whatnot, because they rolled hard for their team. And I think that's something that South Carolina does, or South Carolina fans do now, is that they roll so hard for their team, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, that's something that's cool, you know. I think LSU fans roll hard. Caitlin Clark fans roll hard. Whether or not those Caitlin Clark fans are also Iowa fans, TBD. We'll find out next year. If they are actually Iowa fans or if they were just Caitlin Clark fans. Officer Davis says the difference between the Cowboy fans and the fams is that we won 2 championships since 30 years ago. That is funny. That is funny. That is very funny. Luminera says, Mikaylah Fulwiley will likely go the Raven Johnson route and wait her turn, not the Snaya route. Correct move for her. Yeah. I mean, that's possible. That's absolutely possible. That is absolutely possible. Mikaylah says, one thing about South Carolina fans, they're going to go to war for their team no matter what. That's facts. That's facts. That is absolute facts.